Well, I can't tell you my theory, but I can tell you that we did this thing thinking this would be a cool show that we would love. It became this thing that surprisingly a number of people embraced and had a following. And the coolest thing is to see that people are not just thinking about it, but are, really smart about it and coming to these very interesting, often very complex conclusions about what may or may not be happening there.
My theory, I think, is groundbreaking. I think this is a plane that crashed on an island and mysterious things happen.
I was thinking of aliens, dinosaurs. No, what is this? What is this? An invisible electrical monster crashing down the bushes?
It's all part of a dream inside a duck's brain.
It's definitely military-oriented, and then it goes kind of metaphysical after that.
I don't think it can be that.
I have several theories. It's just which one is the right theory. I'm not going to tell you what mine is.
Tell me where it is! Tell me!
The show has a very thick and complicated mythology that, includes the Dharma Initiative, Alvar Hanso, the numbers, the hatches, the shark, all of this other stuff.
It allows people to engage and creatively start to hypothesize.
It is no different than when you watch a whodunit. There's no way you don't, in the middle, go, it's that guy. I know it's that guy. It's that guy because he's holding a fork.
Wake up.
I don't think we ever anticipated the sort of fervent discussion of what the heck is going on the show. Sure, we thought, there'd be a few people who would be speculating here and there, but we didn't realize it would become this zeitgeist, pastime.
What do you got there, Rerun?
Nothing.
Yeah, well, you got a spot of nothing on your chin there.
I have been known to beat down friends' doors if I couldn't get to watch the episode. I'm completely dependent on other people to watch the episodes as they happen, because I don't have cable.
There's a whole core group of fans that have formed around the Fuselage, which is a lost posting board fan community that formed very shortly after the show began to air.
For show night, we have a thread, it's called the Watching Live thread, and in that particular episode board where people, if they're watching the show, will sit there and talk back and forth as the show is going on.
It's crazy. I mean, people put more time into the theories of the show than we actually put into plotting the show.
We're talking with Megan. Hi there, Megan.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. We're taking phone calls this afternoon as we recap. Last night was a rerun.
Numbers.
But with the Lost fans, it matters not. It gives you another chance to catch up.
Exactly. I was actually looking for Libby in the psych ward, so.
I've been here 8 months, and we started just touching base on what happened last night on Lost. And next thing I know, I find that there were more and more people calling in, more and more people interested and sharing theories. And it got to be where it became a staple part of my show. Going to the phone line. Hey there, John. What's shaking there this afternoon, buddy?
Not much. I want to get involved in this conversation.
Well, what you got on your mind today? Big Lost fan?
Oh, yes, huge. Even last night's rerun, I still caught things that I, missed the first time.
The Lost Notebook is one place where people can come and kind of find the evidence to what may or may not be going on in the show and come up with their own theories.
Where are you going?
You're not the only one who didn't find what they were looking for.
I loved hearing all the theories that are out there, and I love my friends who come up to me and say, oh my God, I totally know what the deal is. I figured it out. And they just lay everything out there, and they come up with the craziest stuff.
There are these really, really in-depth theories about the Hanso Foundation and about the Dharma Project and about how everything is connected. I think if you could take one half of Alvar Hanso's name, who is, the head of the Dharma Project and the head of the Hanso Foundation, and you take that with the other half of someone's name who was actually, an ancient expert in physics and in electromagnetism, they would make the word Dharma. And people come out with 15,000 different ways to equate the numbers to what's happening in the real world to what's happening to something else, and it all makes sense for them, and everybody has an opinion.
Hurley's numbers and the word Dharma are six numbers and 6 letters, and in the Bible, on the 6th day, God created humans.
My theory is that they're not watching, are they? It's a giant turtle.
I always loved this old Twilight Zone where
all this stuff was going on. And at the end of the Twilight Zone, you pulled back and you realized that everything that was going on was inside a drop of water in somebody else's world.
The strangest theory we've come across was actually a theory we had ourselves, which is at one time we were going to have all of our characters come through the island and realize that they're in Disney's California Adventure.
And it is a giant turtle that is floating in the ocean, and they are all on top of it. And it is only a matter of time before they figure that out.
All I do is guess at home just like everybody else. I have no clue. No one gives me any privy information, you know, and I'm glad for it, like I said, so I don't have to lie. I'm a terrible liar.
My personal opinion about what's going on the island is that you're gonna think I'm crazy. All right.
In the very beginning, all the actors, whenever we sat around, we would discuss the theories and whose ever version, whatever they read on the internet. I mean, we would go through lists of theories.
There was a theory that the little boy, Malcolm David Kelly, who's a fine actor, had crash landed on an island on his own and was so bored that he started smoking bananas and he tripped out and imagined the entire show, which I think is good. But it doesn't make sense because that would mean that he'd be imagining like the producers and the SAG Awards, and I don't think a 9-year-old boy can imagine SAG Awards.
My favorite was the one where there was no crash, and the crash was kind of like put together as a set, kind of, and we were implanted memories were given to us, and that's what all our flashbacks are. And so because the memories are implanted, that's why the same horse can show up on the island that Kate had in her past, because it's not a real past. It was put in her head somehow.
There's so many unexplained things that occur. A lot of people think that it's the government's doing it. A lot of people think that it's Mother Nature acting up. I think it's both.
My, geek fan theory that I subscribe to is the one that we are part of some sort of a conspiratorial experiment, that we have all been handpicked, put on a plane. The plane was sabotaged to crash, and that we were meant to survive. I think that human life and human casualty is just a given in this experiment, that our lives have no value. I mean, if you look at the characters in the show, almost all of us, if I'm not mistaken, really have no ties left at home. There's pretty much nobody who's looking for us, nobody who would care that we've gone missing. And so it's safe. It's safe to expose of human life in order to study human behavior.
One thing I know for sure is once you settle with whatever that you need to settle, whether it's letting go of someone, forgiving yourself, or forgiving someone else, once you've sort of made mend with that, you get killed off.
Michael?
So having lots of conflict in your character is a good thing, which means it'll make your character live long.
Numbers are interesting. Alchemy could have something to do with it, too. I think they use a lot of alchemy in the show, too. They hint at it. They hint at, stars and signs and masonry. A lot of that symbolism is in there.
There was a huge appetite at one point to kind of figure out all of the mysteries of the show. And as the mysteries became to get slowly solved, or we've been teased by them, I think a lot of us have taken the perspective that we'll find out in good time.
I'm really pretty patient about finding out what it's going to be, and for me it's just really looking one script at a time and incrementally finding out how the story is moving forward, and sort of my attention is more on a micro scale than thinking what is the big picture here.
Things do happen for a reason, and there is this sort of force that's in play that connects all of our characters together, and it's all going to come together. We're going to see a lot of that, I think, going forward, which is really cool because it has been thought out. It's not just something that's being made up. There's something very cool going on at play.
You're pregnant.
What we have said and will continue to say is that we will not end the show with a cheat. It will not all have taken place in a snow globe. It will not all have been a dream.
It's all going to be about asking new questions, to think about all the questions that you didn't know at the end of the first season. The second half of season 3 we think is going to be incredibly exciting in terms of opening up the show in a whole new way that I don't think anybody sees coming.